YouTube. Today I want to talk to you about Neural DSP's Cory Wong plugin and why I still think it's one of the best options for recording guitar in the software realm. It's about 3 years old now, so it's definitely getting up there, but I still think it's probably one of the best clean plugins. Definitely, if you're looking for metal options, it's definitely not going to cut it, but for the clean sort of edge of breakup tones that it does so well, I think it's probably the best thing in the market still. It's a great price at 99 euros. It goes on sale twice a year as well. Half price sale in April, I think, and Black Friday. So it's pretty affordable. I think it's worth mentioning when I say affordable, the caveat is that you do need an audio interface, a DAW, a set of speakers. So it's a bit of outlay if you're starting from scratch, but if you've already got an existing recording setup, it integrates really smoothly into that. I don't think it replaces a tube amp. I don't think that's what this video is about. It's more around flexible ways to record, to reamp. Essentially, you can print your clean guitar, and the great thing about plugins is then you can go in and apply those plugins after the fact, so you can tweak the mic position, the cab, the EQ, the amp settings, different pre and post effects really easily. Probably one of the best things about Neural is that the UI and layout's really simple. It's still a great design, really holds up, and the sound is just great. Like the second and third amps are the ones I use the most, and they really hold up. They got a great tone still. I know there's been a few other entrants into the market for clean tone. I know Mixwave, I think it's a Benson, sounds really good. I still need to demo that, but the other one's worth mentioning, another Neural product, is Tone King. Have that as well. It's got a different flavor of clean. We'll probably talk about it in another video, but I still think Cory Wong, with its flexibility, its additional amps, the pre and post effects, and the cabs, are just probably the most flexible and easy to use clean plug-in option for guitar at the moment. And 3 years going, it still holds up, still sounds amazing. I'm not going to go through a deep dive on how the plugin works. There's already heaps of great videos on YouTube going through that in detail. I think Jack Gardiner's one is probably the best. And essentially I was going to go through quickly how I use the plugin, and I'm going to go through some of the tones I've created. I will put a link in the description for the Jack Gardiner video. I'll also include a link to the tones I've created today. If you like them, you can download those, and let me know in the comments what you think of the video, what you think of Cory Wong's plugin, what you think of the tones and presets I've created. Just let me know your thoughts. This one was inspired by a Matthew Scott video. I'll link it in the description, but it's his Fender Super Reverb video, and it just absolutely sounds awesome. It's that sound of a really big Fender amp, that large cabinet. I think it's a 4x12 speaker combo amp, and it's just hitting breakup. So what I did here is I put a bit of compression in here, blends back at about probably 10 o'clock, same with compression, so not too compressed, and the volume's a bit up about 2 o'clock. It's pushing the amp into breakup, along with this big rig overdrive, which is sort of like a clon style overdrive. There's no drive here, it's just a bit of a tone push, so it's a bit more trebly, and then the levels pulled back a little bit. Again, there's not a huge amount being pushed. There's a lot of signal being pushed into the amp here. And interestingly, I've got both the Ribbon 121 and the dynamic mic on, and just tweaked the position of where they are to get a bit of a treblier tone here. I've chosen the middle amp with the middle cab. Again, it's got that 4x12 type cab sound, which is great for this Cory Wong plugin. It does really well with these speaker cabinets. And then you can see here the second amp, I've got the volumes, that input gain dimed all the way, pull back the mids to give a bit of a mid scoop sound, and then I've got the bass and treble at 12. Presence is pulled back a little bit, and then outputs around 1 o'clock. And then just I've got a bit of a room style reverb here just to simulate the sounds on the video. I essentially just tweaked it between the cab settings, the reverb, the amp, and then just the pedals to give it that little bit of breakup. So this Soul Searcher one, I was kind of going for a more, I don't know, aggressive sound. It's very tube screamery into a Fender type sound. Kind of that, yeah, sort of hard bluesy sound. I've got the compression on, the compression and blend about 12 o'clock. So fair chunk of compression, tones right up there about 2 o'clock. Definitely making it more of a treblier tone. I've got the tube screamer, pretty much the drive and tone are about 12 o'clock. Levels pushing a little bit more at 1 o'clock, just trying to push the amp a bit harder here. And then the rest is the amp here. I've got the third amp, which is the dumbbell style amp, but I've unlinked it here, this button here, which means I can use the first cab, which I think gives a really sort of more of a rounder sort of fuller tone. Normally it's paired with the console, so it's really nice to pair with this third amp. And yeah, the volume's at about 12 o'clock, the bright switch engaged, treble's pushed a little bit higher than usual, just really going for that chimey sort of top end, and then the master's dimed there, presence is boosted a little bit again to get that nice top end, and the output's about 1 o'clock. And it doesn't look like the drive's engaged here. Could be completely wrong, could be the other way around, that the drive's on and the bright switch is off. But yeah, hang on a second. No, drive is definitely off. So it's just the bright switch we've engaged here. And then I've got the cab settings here. I've got 2 ribbon 121s on here, which is unusual, but seems to work for this sound. On the other side, I've just got it panned away sort of from the center of the cone, and then more of a hall type reverb on this one. It's a bit more decay, a bit more dry wet in there, so it's a bit of a longer reverb. I've just cut the low end and high end from the reverb, just it's a bit nicer with the guitar, and then no delay, no chorus. fresh and so clean. So it's got a compressor at the start of the chain, bit of a steeper blend here, quite a compressed sound. Got a lot of compression here, not pretty much volume and tone about 12 o'clock, not too much being pushed there on the front end of the amp. And then no drive or boost from the two overdrive pedals. And then this is the second amp with the second cab. They're linked down the bottom there. And yeah, it's about 3 o'clock on the input sort of volume here for the gain, and then bass at 12, middle at 12, and then treble, a bit of a boost there. Going for like quite a bright sound, so quite a lot of presence there as well. And the output's about 1 o'clock. So the amp is being pushed a bit by the compressor, and it's quite a compressed sound. It's breaking up if you get really into that pick attack, but it's mostly clean. No major EQ settings. And again, yes, you're using just a one ribbon 121 mic a bit further away from the center of the cone. And then just a little bit of reverb there, more of a room reverb with a little bit less decay. And then a little bit of reverb there on the dry wet knob. And that's it. No chorus, no delay. So this one, 60s soul chords, going for that kind of doo-wop 60s kind of slapback type sounds that you get from those old Fender amps that we used back then. Even some more of the modern sort of neo soul sounding stuff, just kind of aiming for that. Compressions about 11 o'clock, so not a huge amount of compression on the blend. Compression knob there, the volume's up, pushing the amp a bit harder. Tone's not really doing much there. It's 12 o'clock. And then I've got the big rig overdrive on. It's the drive's got a little bit of drive on there, which is nice. Get a little bit of dirt. Definitely when you dig in, a bit of a tone boost there at about 1 o'clock. And then the levels pull back a little bit. So it's not, well, it's pushing the amp a little bit there. And then the volume's dimed here. Middle's pulled back slightly here. And then the presence is pulled back a little bit, and then the output's about 1 o'clock. And this is on the second amp with the second cab. Cab settings, it looks like I've got the ribbon 121 and the dynamic 421. It's a nice blend of mics there. And then for the reverb, yeah, essentially it's like a kind of a shorter reverb there, more of a room. And then this delay here is a short delay. You can see it says minimums 100 milliseconds. So it's a really short slapback delay, about maybe 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock on the mix. And then a bit of feedback there, which I liked. Normally slapbacks are really short feedback, but it gives a nice sound. So I've just dialed in a little bit more feedback there. And again, just a lot of the highs are rolled off here, trying to simulate more of a tape delay and log delay. This one's called 60s Soul Bass. Got a really compressed kind of vintage tone here. The blend's all the way up on the compressor, so it's really compressed sound. The compression's at about 2 o'clock, and the tones are a little bit forward, probably about 1 o'clock. Just give a bit more of a slightly brighter sound going in. And then the rest of the pedals are not engaged. Using the first amp and cab, which is actually like a console simulator. So essentially it's simulating an SSL console, like plugging directly into the console, which a lot of bass guitarists did back in the day. So James Jamerson is one that jumps to mind. The Motown bassist, probably one of the most famous bass players ever. And he used to plug straight into the console, I think, or use a small Ampeg. But yeah, it's that direct console sound there. So I've just kind of got no compression here because we're already getting a lot from the pedal there at the front of the amp. And then no tube saturation. High pass, low pass are not engaged at all. Just letting everything through. I think everything else is at 12 o'clock, and then just volume's about 3 o'clock here. Yeah, not really much happening there. And then there's a 121 ribbon on left side, and that's it. And then for these pedals, I left everything off, which makes sense. It's a bass sound. I don't have any delay or reverb or chorus. It's essentially just the sound of this plugging directly into the console and just a really compressed bass tone. Thanks for watching today. Before you go, remember to hit that like and subscribe button if you liked today's video, and also for more content like this coming up. Let me know your thoughts on the Cory Wong plugin. How's it working for you currently with your workflow? I'm also curious, what would you like me to review next? I'm always open to suggestions. Just pop those down in the comments below. And as always, keep making great music, and I'll see you next time.